Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing this week's college football top 25 rankings. And we finally got a humongous upset. Took us a while. Finally got a humongous upset. Oklahoma loses to Kansas. That I feel like is a humongous upset. That's one of those you really don't expect at all. Like you have someone's early on the year, Florida State beating LSU, that was a possibility. You had Florida beating Tennessee, that was a possibility. You had Virginia versus North Carolina, that's a lot. But right now, that's not looking as big as an upset based on North Carolina just played. This one is huge. Oklahoma was a top 6 team, and they've not lost to Kansas. I don't even know how long. And they go to Kansas. Kansas wins barely wins off a game-winning drive, but very good job, Kansas. Great stop, by the way. So, let's discuss. At number one, we have 48 votes for number one spot. This varies so much, the voting for number one. Still number one after 20 weeks, Georgia. Georgia's not left this spot in almost 2 seasons. This is incredible. We need to appreciate how good this team is, how good this dynasty is probably going to end up being, because Georgia is extraordinarily good. I'm very impressed by this team. This team they played Florida. Florida started off hot, and then they racked up like 26 straight points on them. That is a lot. That is very tough to do. This Florida team isn't that bad. This team's solid. I thought it was going to be a lot more closer than it's going to be. Yeah, I still have Georgia winning, though. But man, that was a blowout. Number 2, we have Michigan with 9 votes for the number 1 spot. Michigan is looking still very good. They haven't played anyone really. So whenever they do, we'll cover that. Number 3 with 3 votes for number 1, Ohio State. In Ohio State, they've actually played competition. They've probably had the toughest start to the season that anyone has that have credibility for the number 1 spot. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Penn State. They've beat Maryland. They've had some wins. 2 of those are way more important than Maryland. But still some credible teams that you've beat. And you have this week against Rutgers. We'll cover that at one point. But right now, Ohio State, not looking bad. They're looking quite good, actually. Then you have Florida State with 3 votes for number 1 spot at number 4. Florida State still taking care of business, beating up Wake Forest like they should. Finally, you win an ACC game just cleanly, outright. Very good job. Good job, Florida State. They're looking quite good. At number 5, you have Washington. Washington, another struggle week, but this time it wasn't the offense. It was the defense this time, which you can work with a little bit more than the defense does. You can work with the defense struggling a bit more than the offense. But right now, you have to play USC this week. It'll be fun to watch. We'll cover USC. But this is a big week for college football, and a lot of these teams in the top 10 are being tested, and that doesn't just stop. I mean, Georgia's being tested. Ohio State's going to be tested. You have Washington being tested. Bama being tested. We'll get to that. But a lot of these teams are going to be being tested. We're going to see if they pass. At number 6, Oregon. They move up 2 spots after Oklahoma losing. Right now, the polls think they're the best one-loss team in the country. You could definitely argue that. You could definitely do that. They look very good. I mean, you couldn't ask for much better. You just rolled Utah. I thought Utah was going to win. I thought Utah was a great home team. They still are a great home team. This team is just that good. Oregon is phenomenal, and maybe if they have some better coaching decisions, they're undefeated right now. But they're still 1 loss. So it's going to be interesting how the season plays out for them. Number 7, you have Texas. Still 1 loss team. Still looking solid without Quinn Ewers. Their defense took care of business. Quarterback did good enough. Okay. Let's keep that trend up here for Texas until you get Quinn Ewers back. We really need him back for these later games. Number 8, Alabama. The highest they've been ranked since the Texas loss. They moved up a spot in the rankings. Very fair. They look good. Still looking very good. They were on their bye week, but they have to play LSU this week. Big matchup, and a little bit different matchup. This is probably one of the games I'm going to be covering. You have right now Alabama. This team, LSU, has actually given them fits multiple occasions. A lot of close games, a lot of games that LSU's actually won. You have a lot of these games that, okay, they're going kind of back and forth, and LSU tends to pull them out. I mean, they're one of the few teams that beat Saban back-to-back years. They're one of the few teams that's beaten them twice out of the past 5 years. I mean, it's them and Auburn who've done it. These teams, I mean, you have these teams that sometimes give Alabama fits. I don't even know Auburn's done that. You have some of these teams that will give Alabama fits. I think they did. This is one of them. LSU has a legitimate chance. We'll cover that later in this week, though. And number 9, Penn State. I don't think they deserve to jump up after this. I don't know why they're above Oklahoma. They barely beat Indiana. That is bad. They move up a spot, though. But you got to play better defensively. 24 points to Indiana? What is wrong with you? You cannot play like that against Michigan. Your season's on the line against Michigan. You better play good. And number 10, Oklahoma. They moved down 4 spots. One of the biggest falls of this week. Oklahoma. How do you feel about that? That's a tough loss to have against Kansas. I told you Kansas is still a pretty good team. I told you Kansas might mess some things up, and they did. They really did put Oklahoma on the hot seat right now. You only have to lose one more game. And nobody's thinking if Oklahoma have to play Texas at the end of the year, whoever wins probably makes the playoffs, and whoever doesn't is completely out of any contention of it. And that'll be a big game. That would be a very fun game to watch. And number 11, Ole Miss. They move up a spot. They beat Vanderbilt. Good job, Ole Miss. Took care of business. You have Georgia in a few. You have Georgia in 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure. Watch out. You need your best for that game. And number 12, Notre Dame, with jumping up 2 spots, they annihilated Pitt. Pittsburgh just had no chance, and they didn't even score. It was like 50-something to 0. Very dominating win for Notre Dame. What they needed. That's really what they needed. And number 13, LSU, also moving up 2 spots. A lot of teams moving up 2 spots. LSU, what do you look at right now? Looking at a team that's very good. I'm pretty sure they also are on their bye week last week. They have Alabama. They need that bye week. And I think that was a problem with some of these teams earlier in this year. They didn't have their bye weeks before then. They had to go and beat a big team before then. Tennessee had to go and beat A&M. Ole Miss had to play. I forgot who they played. They had to play someone before then. But you have some of these teams that are coming off of big pouring games that they're just not fully prepared. But LSU has the same capabilities of being prepared as Alabama does. So we'll see if they do that. Number 14, Missouri. Can you go shock the world? You barely lost to LSU. If not, you would have been undefeated. And probably you'd definitely a top 10 team. And Missouri. They have the best on paper offense in the SEC. Top 5 passer is Brady Cook. Top 5 receiver in Luther Burden. I think might be number 1 running back in the SEC. I forgot his name. Solid defense. You gotta transfer your passing game on the road. Some teams have been able to make some plays running the ball, but those are the teams that just force it. I think that really the game I have to look at if I was Missouri, you have to really look at that South Carolina game and figure out what happened. Play defense enough and just score when you can, because you got to do something well against this team. This team's very tough. On number 15, Louisville, also jumping up 3 spots. You beat Duke. You shut them out. Very good win for Louisville. Then you have number 16, Oregon State. I called this one. They were losing. It said Arizona was on a roll, and they proved why. They're now falling down 5 spots. That is not good for Oregon State and the Beavers. This one's interesting. Number 17th ranked, Air Force, moving up 2 spots, undefeated. What happens to go undefeated? What happens? What are they top 10? Are they playoff contention? I mean, like, what are we doing here? I mean, an undefeated Air Force. What are you going to do with that? Interesting. Questions that the NCAA really doesn't want to answer. And then tied with Oregon State, the biggest fall of the week. Utah at 18. They just got annihilated by the Oregon Ducks. It was very bad. Very, very bad. Number 19, Tennessee, moving up 2 spots after beating Kentucky. Very fair jumping, in my opinion. They play UConn this week at noon. I might cover that because, again, I've covered that stuff. But yeah, Joe Milton played very, very good. Run game was phenomenal. Defense lax without Kamal Haddon. So, number one cornerback. Number one cornerback. Hopefully, our defense able to collaborate together enough and just somehow maybe find another number one cornerback out there. But a bad defensive performance for us this year was 27 points. A bad one last year was 63. I will take this. Number 20, my bad. UCLA. They beat Colorado. They didn't let them score a lot at all. Number 20th ranked UCLA is interesting. Quarterback situations kind of flip-flop back and forth. The freshman guy was making a lot of mistakes and put in the other guy, and it seemed like they won off of that. Defense played very good. Good job, UCLA. Number 21, Tulane. Held the ball for the last 8.5 minutes in their win against Rice. Number one ranking. They moved up a spot. Not number one. They moved up one spot. They're number 21 right now. Good job, Tulane. Number 22, back in the rankings for the first time in I don't even know how long. Kansas. Welcome back, Kansas. Number 22 rank. And hopefully continuing up. Good job. Very good job. And number 23, James Madison, moving up 2 spots. Had a little close one of Old Dominion, but they took care of business late. Good job, James Madison. Number 24, USC. Moving up nowhere. They didn't move up at all. They just stayed in the same position at 24. Interesting. Very interesting, actually, because they barely beat California. Barely. Off a 2-point conversion stoppage. It was 50-49. That was more of a basketball score than a football score. It's wild. I would personally put, who would I put in? Liberty over USC right now because they have no defense. USC has no defense. They have to figure out something. And then number 25, you have Kansas State. Welcome to the top 25. First time in a while you've been here. First time all year. It's been ever since the Missouri game you've not been in. I don't believe so. So welcome back. Welcome back, Kansas State. Are they the Wildcats? Something like that. So yeah, welcome back. So that's my top 20. That's the top 25 right now that ESPN, that the AP poll has. Oklahoma State could be up here. They beat Kansas State, actually. I'm not sure why they're not in it, but Kansas State is. They also have a good win against Kansas. I don't know. North Carolina fell out. Very sad to see. They're choking, especially defensively, giving up 45 to Georgia Tech. What is wrong with you? Duke fell out top 25, deservingly so. Fresno State, Miami, Arizona, Toledo, Rutgers, all getting votes. And Liberty is the only one I feel like should be in the top 25 that isn't. So, yeah, they got 47 votes. And yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. Put on the comments what you feel about this. Give your own opinion on the top 25. And yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And God bless y'all.